welcome to another episode of Talk Uncensored. I'm your host, April Hogan, and I know just from the past few episodes, you guys have noticed that I've been doing a lot of interviews for anthologies. So we've talked a lot to some of the authors in two different books that I've been interviewing the wonderful authors in. So one of them has been The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness anthology. And then the other book that I've been doing a lot of interviews for is The Essential Soft Skills for Effective Leadership, Steps to Leading with Grace. So I have more for you guys, right? So I have two authors that are coming on today. They're going to talk about the anthology that they're a part of and give you some more information about themselves and their business, what they have coming up, and then just talk about like their journey, right? So it's exciting because I get to hear all of the beautiful stories of these wonderful women who are doing great things. So first of all, I'm going to have Mary Ann Rivera Dannert. She's coming on first. So let me give you some information about her. I'm going to read her bio to you because after the messages, she's going to come on, all right? Mary Ann Rivera Dannert is a fearless dealer every woman needs in her corner. Mary Ann learned early on how to be what she would later become, striving to be better than what life handed her. The conquering spirit within arose, giving her the courage and realization she needed to recognize her unique value as a woman. With a background filled with adversity, instability, and dysfunction, Mary Ann had so much stacked against her. Yet, she didn't allow what happened in her formative years to stop her from becoming who she is today. Mary Ann is a certified life coach who holds a MS in strategic leadership and a BS in organizational management. She is an 11 times published author. She has been featured in various publications, and Mary Ann is also the host and creator of the Fearless Fridays with Mary Ann podcast, which seeks to empower and transform women to live their best life today. All right, so first up, after these messages, I am going to get an opportunity to interview Mary Ann Rivera Dannert, who is a part of the Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness anthology. I will see you guys after these messages.
The Empower Your Journey Business and Tech Tour is coming to Huntsville, Alabama, April 27th, 2024. This professional event brings together experts and professionals in the business and tech industries to engage in workshops and networking while gaining insight from our keynote speakers and panelists. Come enjoy the event of the year as we focus on knowledge exchange and skill development. Interested in being a part of this event? We are seeking sponsors, panelists, vendors, and volunteers. Find out more by visiting us online at empoweryourjourneytour.com.
Calling all high school cheerleaders, Ticket to Greatness and Max Spirit Association present to you the HBCU Combine hosted at Stockbridge High School in Stockbridge, Georgia, Saturday, May 4th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join HBCU coaches from across the nation in search of elite cheerleaders. 9th through 12th grade cheerleaders, come out and showcase your best tumbling, stunting, and cheer skills. Register for $125 today. Spots fill quickly, and you don't want to miss this. Register at bit.ly/HBCU-cheer. Again, that's bit.ly/HBCU-cheer. See you there.
Talk Uncensored. I'm your host, April Hogan, and as promised, I have Miss Mary Ann here to talk about her part in the Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness anthology by Nadia Manzano. How are you doing, Mary Ann?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am so happy to have you on today, especially about the fact that you are also a podcast leader.
Yes.
So tell us real quick. So we'll start off. I've got a chance prior to bringing you on to read your biography and let everybody know the great details about you. But tell the audience about you in your words.
Well, first and foremost, April, thank you so much for having me here on your platform. I truly appreciate it. So I am Marianne Rivera Dannert, and I am the owner and operator of MRD Empowerment Solutions, where we provide various services from life coaching. As you mentioned, I also have a podcast, Fearless Fridays with Marianne. I'm an author, speaker, and a trainer. Currently, I live in upstate New York, so it's very gloomy and dark out. I am empowered by the pool in my background. And I have 3 children. I'm an HR professional by trade, and I love empowering and helping people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Man, you got a lot going on.
Yes.
Absolutely. So the book, The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness Anthology. So
Yes.
we both have the ability or the pleasure of being co-authors in this book. What is the title of your chapter?
The title is Breaking Barriers.
Awesome. Awesome. So what is your invisible illness?
My invisible illness is rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit, for those who may not understand the dynamics of that invisible illness. Tell us about rheumatoid arthritis.
So rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and sometimes it can be confused with lupus or fibromyalgia. It basically is like your body attacking itself. So they run a lot of blood tests, a different type of tests, x-rays to see, what it is. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between the lupus and fibromyalgia and arthritis that the doctors are able to tell, which disease you have.
Oh.
Basically, that's what it is. It started when I was 13. So it started out as juvenile arthritis. And then it, as I became an adult, it changed to rheumatoid arthritis. And it's, for anyone that has experienced it or is experiencing it, it's difficult because it also affects your moods, because you're not able to do certain things that people can take for granted, brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, getting dressed and things like that.
Okay. So what areas does it impact?
So for me, I have it on my knees, my wrist, my elbows, my collarbone, and my hips.
Oh,
So all the major joints that keeps you mobile and going.
absolutely. So in terms of what signs, so in just thinking of someone who may be battling with something similar and don't know, like what type of signs should somebody look for this illness?
So for me, it started because, the everyday thing, just getting out of bed sometimes was painful.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things started just hurting, things like that. And I would tell my parents, like, I can't do this because my hips hurt, or it's hard for me to go up the stairs. So they started, they took me immediately to the doctors. And again, I was a teenager at the time, so it was pediatrics. And they ran a whole bunch of tests and there was nothing. And it just continued. And my mom was like, something is happening because she can't do this. And the areas that were being affected would be warm or hot to the touch. And sometimes also get red. So those are like 2 signs to be on the lookout for, aside from the pain. And it's like a dull, excruciating pain. And again, it's, warm or hot to the touch. And it's usually sometimes like, red or like a rash, like, on the areas.
Okay. So hearing everything that you do, both from your bio and then from just talking to you and you introducing yourselves, it looks like you do a lot with this invisible illness, which means that it is possible to live a healthy, fulfilling life. So tell those who may either be battling with this or have family members that are battling with this, like, what are some ways to combat this in order to still live a healthy, thriving life?
So the first thing is to know your body and do research. When I was first diagnosed, I was prescribed different various, medications, but I'm the type that I will do research on these medications. And you all have seen the commercials, be careful because it can cause hair loss or kidney failure or this or that. And it's like, if I take this, it's going to affect that. Then I need another medication to heal that. And then it's just going to be an ongoing cycle. Yeah. So for me personally, I don't take medication unless it's Aleve over the counter. And that works for me. Okay. knowing your body, knowing what triggers it. There are certain foods that individuals that have autoimmune diseases should stay away from.
Mm.
Starches, so like white sugar, salt, pasta, like, carbohydrates, anything that's starchy. You should
Okay.
stay away from it, because it does affect your body.
Mm.
And for me, I also have noticed that my mood, so stress, is very important to keep under control. So for me, one of the things that I am huge on is self-care, because
Yeah.
again, I know that if I become stressed, it's going to trigger my body, and my body's just going to start to attack itself.
Absolutely. So it's crazy that you say that, because I just recently, for my invisible illness, got out of the hospital, and they're trying to prescribe every type of medicine. I'm one of those. I'm looking like the side effects are worse than the actual condition.
Correct.
So, I'm 100%. It is so hard to get me to do any type of medication that is not over the counter. I will take the over the counter medicine, the stuff that I can go to the store and get myself.
Right.
But if it's one of those where I'm about to have a whole lot of side effects, I'm not interested. So tell me about what some other things that you have going on right now. So aside from the book, the anthology, which we're excited about because we're so close to the launch, tell me about some other things that you have going on.
So I have been working on my solo project, my solo book, for years.
Okay.
I have been a part of 11. In the beginning of 2024, it will be 13 anthologies.
Wow.
And people keep saying, when are you going to write your own book? When are you going to write your memoir? So I've started that years ago. And for me, it was something mentally that was keeping me stuck on that. But this is the year 2024. The memoir will be out.
Yeah, exciting.
Thank you. And I'm also working on revamping my business. So MRD Empowerment Solutions. If you Google the Fearless Living Coach, you'll probably see my name somewhere on there. But I'm slowly transitioning from that to start working with more like middle managers, supervisors, and providing executive coaching.
Okay.
And still focusing on one-on-one women's coaching, but just doing a little rebranding.
Okay, awesome. That's exciting. So, success. Tell me first, how do you define success?
To me, success is at the end of the day when my head hits the pillow, I feel like I have done the best that I can in whatever area of my life I'm working on. So whether it's personal, professional, at the end of the day, I feel content, confident, and at peace that I have done the best and I have given it my all.
Well, and I love that because number one, you said your best, right? Not anybody else's best.
Correct.
And then number two, a lot of people, when you think of success, they think solely work life. You said personal. Your personal life is a little bit more important actually than even your work life, because you got to be okay on your physical self before you can be okay for work. So I love that. I absolutely love that. All right.
Definitely.
So those people coming after you, those people who may have the same type of illness as you, or even just in a career field that is in the same direction as where you're at, what type of advice or motivation would you give them, especially living in the times that we live in right now, to just kind of, keep them motivated and empowered?
I would definitely say that to prioritize self-care. And by self-care, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spend a day at the spa, although that would be wonderful. But taking time for yourself, whether it's getting up 5-10 minutes early, reading a book, stretching, having a cup of tea, making time for yourself on a daily basis. Because if you are not at 100%, you're not going to be any good for anybody else, whether it's your family, whether it's your employer, whether it's your clients, if you are an entrepreneur. So prioritize self-care. And always remember that you are a priority and that you matter. So your goals, your desires, your dreams, your passions, they all matter. It doesn't matter how small, how big your goals are. Keep striving every single day and never give up.
Yeah, I love that. So for those people who may need your services or want to look into, connecting with you, where can they find you at?
So my website is mariannerivera.com. I'm also on Facebook as MRD Empowerment Solutions and on Instagram with my name, Marianne Rivera Dannert.
All right. And you guys, all of that will be here at the bottom of the screen. Marianne, thank you so much for joining me in this interview and giving us so much great information. I want to thank our audience for listening, and we'll see you after these messages.
Thank you so much.
Introducing Rich Innovations, your one-stop solution for professional business services. At Rich Innovations, we're here to transform your business dreams into reality. Whether you need business coaching, government contracting expertise, or creative services like book and game publishing or web design, we tailor our services to meet your unique needs, all at prices that won't break the bank. Unlock your business potential with Rich Innovations. Contact us today and let's create success together.
Tune in to Talk Uncensored every other Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube/Talk Uncensored. See you there.
Welcome back to Talk Uncensored. You know me, I'm your host, April Hogan. So we just got the opportunity to sit and hear an interview from Mary Ann Rivera Dannert. And now we have an interview with Dr. E. Carter, PhD. So let me give you some background information about Dr. E. Carter. Elizabeth, Dr. E. Carter, PhD, founded her company, Appeal, in 2016. Embodied in her absolute passion for performance, engagement, analytics, and leadership, she elevates corporate professionals from uncertainty and confusion to being seen, heard, and valued in the corporate workplace. Enabling clarity of how these four pillars are necessary in the trajectory of one's career, she strives to move the needle on the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, which shows women and minorities lacking the representation at managerial levels in corporate organizations. Dr. E understands the challenges trying to fit in but still stand in one's uniqueness. From scraping her childhood dream of becoming a lawyer, to selling life insurance, to working in retail management and banking, she finally landed in corporate finance and the insurance industry. During her 25 years in this industry, working for household names, Allstate, The Hartford, AIG, and Farmers, she became accustomed to being the only woman of color in the room. While others have become frustrated and jumped out of the corporate environment, Dr. E remains energized, encouraged, and entrenched in the crux of the change in the trends and shares real-time experience with her Appeal clients. Currently a vice president at a health insurance company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Elizabeth is also a speaker, trainer, and 7 times best-selling author, founder of the Elevate Your Value Summit and the Corporate Sisters Network. All right, so you're already hearing it. Leadership, leadership, leadership. This is one of those interviews. If you're looking to want to enhance your situation, you definitely want to tune in to this interview with Dr. E. All right, so I will see you after these messages as I bring Dr. E on to talk about her anthology or the anthology she's a part of and some other projects she has coming up. I'll see you after these messages.
In the heart of Florida, AGT Medical Billing Solutions is your trusted partner for all your medical billing and coding needs. Our dedicated experts specialize in medical billing, precise coding, and efficient collections, ensuring you get paid what you deserve. With AGT, your practice can focus on what matters most, patient care, while we handle the rest. Choose AGT Medical Billing Solutions for accuracy, reliability, and peace of mind in medical billing.
Welcome back to Talk Uncensored. You know me, it's your host, April Hogan. And as I told you before the break, I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Elizabeth Carter, also known as Dr. E, to the show. Welcome, Dr. E.
Hello. Great to be here.
It is so great to have you. So prior to you coming on, I got the opportunity to introduce you and read your bio to everyone. But what I would like you to do now, if you can introduce yourself in the words of Dr. E.
Great. Thank you again. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Elizabeth Dr. E. Carter, PhD. I call myself a corporate elevation strategist. And what is that, you ask? Well, I've been working in corporate for over 25 years, and it is a struggle and continues to be a struggle. And I work to empower professionals of color, especially, to be able to feel that they are being seen, heard, and valued in the corporate workplace. I am currently an executive at a health insurance company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I will tell you, I know that I am far behind where I wanted to have been at this part of my life. And I want to be able to help others move faster than I did and be more successful.
Absolutely. I love that. That is great. So I know currently you are a co-author in the anthology, The Essential Soft Skills for Effective Leadership, Steps to Leading Grace. So Steps to Leading with Grace. So tell me, what is the name of your chapter in this book?
My chapter is called Adaptability. It's very simple.
Okay, that is very simple. So then tell us, what can the readers, the future readers and our viewers, what can they look forward to when reading your chapter?
Well, I've discussed in the chapter that I think adaptability is a proactive and reactive emotion. The better we are in being prepared to understand change, and change is happening all the time that we may not be aware of it, we may be ignoring it, we may be oblivious to it. And I discuss in the chapter ways in which we can notice in a proactive way that there's something that we may need to adapt to. And at the same time, if we missed it and we are reacting, how we can similarly move forward. I find that people think that the world needs to change for them, but we similarly need to change in our own way also, because not always is life the way we want it. And we have to really adapt our ways, our thinkings, our emotions in many cases to be able to continue in our journey.
Absolutely. I always tell people the only thing that's consistent is change. Things
That's
are going
right.
to consistently change. That's the only thing you can count on that's going to happen.
Right. Exactly.
So that's great. I love the thought of adaptability. As a manager myself and then leading my own company, it's one of the things that when you deal in the corporate world, it is something that if you don't understand that that's something that's going to happen, it can be very stressful.
Right.
Extremely stressful. All right. So let me, when you come to writing your chapter, what are some of the processes that you use in order to write a chapter that can be relatable to your audience?
Well, the timing was perfect when I was asked to get involved in this anthology. I myself was and still am going through a bit of adapting. My role that I had in my corporation changed, and my options were go ahead and move with the change or look for something different. So this chapter is pretty much like live as I lived it, pertaining to a few years ago. I had a similar situation and I was reactive, but this time I caught some of the clues and were proactive in being able to activate my network, have conversations, think about my plan B and plan C. So that really is what the chapter, and it all came to light at the perfect time where I'm sharing, and I always do, real life experiences. The best thing about still being in corporate and being a corporate coach is that I am learning and then sharing immediately with my clients as I'm living it.
Absolutely. I love that. And especially when you think of the fact that if you're going to get a coach who has the experience, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So outside of the book, I know you have some amazing things about to happen. So tell us about your anthology first.
Right. Thank you. Last year, I curated an anthology called Letters to My Corporate Sisters, Stories of Endurance, Elevation, and Encouragement. And I had 10 ladies plus myself share our stories. Again, we all are working pretty much in isolation. Not often do we see people that look like us, have the same experiences as us, and there's no way to really share. This book offered 11 different perspectives on working in corporate as a female, and I'm working on volume 2 for 2024. So I'm certainly looking for women to tell their story. And again, a lot of times we think maybe it's just me, but not always. There's probably someone else out there experiencing the same exact thing you're going through, and you have the solution for them and their problem.
Absolutely. So tell me, if somebody was interested in being a co-author in this book, how do they get a hold of you? Or where do they go?
Sure, they can send me an email at info@drelizabethcarter.com. That's all one word, drelizabethcarter.com.
Okay, great. And I will have that here at the bottom of the screen. So if you're interested in being a co-author or learning more about being a co-author, contact Dr. E. So outside of the anthology, part 2, you have an event coming up.
I do. At the end of February, this is my 4th virtual summit. It is called Elevate Your Value. And Elevate Your Value is really my branding, because that is what I want to do. I want to elevate everyone, especially people who have a story. Some of the stories in my summit are about trauma, about financial trauma, about divorce, about working in corporate. And I love to give people a voice so that they can share. I call it Amplifying Voices. And this summit is virtual. It's happening at the end of February. I'm certainly looking for speakers who want to come on and share their story. It is a pre-recorded summit. 20 minutes you have to be able to share your journey, your upbringing, uplifting, and takeaways for the audience. So that I'm looking for speakers for that.
Love that. So amplifying your voice. That is great. So on top of co-authors, if you are a speaker and you want to tell your story, you want to amplify your voice, would they still email you?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay.
At
So
info@drelizabethcarter.com, and just either say anthology or summit, because I'll do the summit again later in the year also. So if you missed this cut off, you can always be part of the next one.
All right, you guys. So she's just giving opportunities. So on top of the anthology co-author opportunity to speak at Amplifying Your Voice. So now I read about a lot of your successes. Tell us how you define success.
For me, I define success when someone comes back to me and says, "Hey, Dr. E, something you said touched me. Something you said made me shift my mindset. Something you said made me speak out on my own behalf. And thank you." I love to be able to see people really take what I've shared and run with it. Now, sometimes there's a lag. It could be a month, 3 years, 10 years even, that someone comes back to me and says, "I remember when." And for me, that is success, because I am creating a legacy. I'll be long gone, and those folks will continue and share what they learned from me, and then pass that down to our next set of leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs. So that is success for me.
Being an impact for someone else.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love it. So with that being said, we all have people coming up after us, which I consider, or I call, our freshman class. What advice would you give to your freshman class, whether it be someone who is in a corporate position, someone who is looking to get into a corporate position, or just someone who is looking at your story and saying, "Wow, I wish I could be there"? What advice would you give them to motivate them?
I would first say, don't let someone else define you. I lived my life up until college thinking that I was going to be a lawyer because my parents wanted me to be a lawyer. They felt that was success for them.
Okay.
But it wasn't for me. I knew I didn't have the chops. I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the mindset. And I spent so long trying to validate that I could do it to the point that I couldn't, that I wasted so much time when I could have been focused in on what is really true to me and true for me.
Mhm.
So I will tell you, don't let someone else define who you are. Find your passion and hone in on it. And if that's not your passion, shift as soon as you can. No sense wasting any day. Our days are numbered. And I will tell you, I lost both my parents this year. It's been very traumatic for me. And I know that they showed me every day is a gift. So don't waste it on trying to please someone else. Do you, be you, and be about you.
Absolutely. So, Dr. E, where can the audience find you? So outside of the email address for contacting you for your 2 projects, for someone who just wants to follow what you got going on, where can they find you at?
Sure. I have Instagram I have 2 Instagram addresses. My company Appeal. My Facebook and Instagram is EAC Appeal. That's 2 A's, 2 P's, EAL. I also am on LinkedIn. Please follow me, Elizabeth Carter, PhD, CPCU. Or my website is www.eac-appeal, 2 A's, 2 P's, EAL.com. And when you go to my website, you can become part of my VIP community and you'll receive my emails as to what I'm working on, where I'll be speaking, what are my next projects, and how I can help you with your corporate journey.
That is so great. So everything that she said, from her social media to her website, is down at the bottom of the screen. You can take notes so you can go follow, find out more information. So Dr. E, do you have any last words for our viewers?
I thank you so much for having me. And I tell you all, please have a joyous 2024. It's a brand new start, but any day is the day to get started. So please just remember to be vocal, visible, and valued. And if you are not, seek out a coach today.
Yes, thank you so much. So thank you, Dr. E, for coming on the show. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. This is our last interview for the day, and we'll see you next time on Talk Uncensored.
Thank you. Have a great day.